Prologue. The whistling was generic, not representative of anything that either of the girls could recognize. It was just a string of pitchless notes that didn't seem to follow a particular pattern or tune, which somehow made it even more terrifying. Melissa shivered and opened her eyes. Her neck and shoulders were sore from falling asleep with her back against the cold concrete, and her hands, bound tightly behind her, had long ago gone numb. Her heart rate quickened with the sound of a door opening, and Melissa shut her eyes tightly, trying to will their captor away. The whistling abruptly stopped, and she somehow mustered the courage to open her eyes again. A shadowy figure was crouched but a foot from her, head tilted to one side. When a gloved hand moved toward her face, Melissa recoiled so quickly that the back of her skull bounced off the wall hard enough to send stars shooting across her vision. But the hand didn't grab her as she thought it might. Instead, the fingers brushed a lock of brittle brown hair away from her face. "Why are you doing this?" Melissa whimpered, when the figure's only response was to change the angle of the head tilt. Rage suddenly filled her. "Fuck you," she growled. When the shadow didn't respond at all this time, didn't even seem to acknowledge her, she leaned forward and spat. The spray struck her captor directly in the face, and the figure stumbled backward. The crawl space couldn't have been more than 4 feet tall, and for a second, Melissa thought that the captor might crack their head on one of the low cross beams. The figure ducked just in time. "Tisk, tisk, tisk. That isn't polite," her captor said. When the fingers extended toward her face again, Melissa didn't cower away. This time, she stared forward, hatred in her eyes. "That simply isn't tolerated here, sweetie." There was no anger in the voice, just simple, perfunctory castigation. The gloved hand slipped out of sight. When it reappeared, the leather fingers were wrapped around the handle of an 8-inch butcher's knife. Melissa didn't want to show fear, didn't want to feed her captor's sick desires. But when her eyes fell on the blade, she couldn't help it. Her eyes widened. Her captor must have noticed this, as a dry chuckle suddenly filled the crawl space. "Oh, it's not for you, hun," the figure said. With that, the shadow spun around to face the other woman. She had been here when Melissa had first arrived, and even though it was difficult to tell how much time had passed in the crawl space, Melissa thought it to be around 3 days. And in all that time, the other woman hadn't said a single word, hadn't so much as muttered her name. In fact, the only sign that she was alive was her near constant shivering. Like Melissa, her hair was grimy, covering her pale face in thin spaghetti-like strands. As the figure moved toward her, however, the woman started to animate. Hope suddenly bloomed inside Melissa. She's been saving her energy. All this time she's been waiting for just the right moment. Together, maybe we can take the knife, maybe... But when the woman simply held her arms out, palms up, all optimism fled her. There were scars on her wrists, a network of crisscrossing pink lines that stood out on her alabaster forearms. This woman wouldn't fight, Melissa knew. "See," the captor instructed. "This is how you're supposed to behave." Without hesitation, the blade flashed out, and a scarlet streak appeared between the pink scars. Blood immediately spilled forth, coating the lower half of her arm before pooling in her palm. The woman's eyelids sagged, and her neck drooped. "That's all right, sweetie. You've done your part."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.